precipitation has largely left the state, it's still going to be brutally cold out there. And so we really need to continue to focus on the 4 Ps, the people, pets, pipes, and plants. We cannot turn our backs on those that are in need right now. And our goal from here on out is to prevent preventable injuries and deaths. And we do that by not driving if you don't have to. I mean, you just heard Colonel McCraw talk about the injuries and deaths on Texas highways. If we don't have to get out and drive, we can prevent those deaths. The next is we have people that are getting out walking around, and we have trips and falls and people slipping. And I know we have some head injuries in a couple of hospitals right now because of falls. Those are preventable injuries. If you don't have to be outside, do not be outside. And we've got to continue, I need your help pushing this message about protection from carbon monoxide exposure. Do not run a generator in the house. Don't use gas grills inside the house. And so those are preventable injuries and preventable deaths. And then finally, Governor, I want to re-echo so many of the thanks to our line crews that are out there. It is cold. It is brutally cold. The line crews up there working in that wind trying to get our power back. We're thankful. Our TxDOT partners, our first responders, our county roads, our healthcare workers still going to work every day in hospitals. And then finally, I want to thank the working media. You guys are out there driving around. It's cold. Thank you for being here and helping us get our message out.
Thank you very much. We'll take a few questions. Wes?
Governor, just out of curiosity, how do you feel about those campaigning against last year's grid cut?
You know, our focus here, obviously, is we want to execute at this point in time of implementing all the laws that were passed in a bipartisan way. Both Democrats and Republicans supported the reforms that were passed, reforms that have led to a grid that is far more resilient. And I think it's important for everybody, whether they're involved in politics or not to go around fear-mongering, predicting the worst-case scenario, predicting blackouts and things like that. It's important for the public to be educated like what we're trying to do, to let the public know that the grid is better than it was last year in very tangible ways because of the reforms that were passed. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing the grid perform by providing an amount of power that would have been more than enough power that was needed during the time of Winter Storm Uri.
Maggie, go ahead.
This might be a question more for PUC and ERCOT. Can you kind of walk me through how, I guess, why the forecasting changed so much for the beginning? Clearly from 71, went up to 75 at one point, and then obviously this morning actual demand is at 69. Is that something we need to be working to get more precise ahead of future winter weather?
So the forecast changes as we get closer to the operating day for several reasons. First and foremost, any forecast will continue to be refined as information gets better and we get closer to the operating day. In addition to that, we have taken the new position of using the most conservative forecast possible as another margin of safety. We want to prepare for the worst case scenario. In addition to that, this morning in particular, people are staying home from work as we've asked them to. Schools are closed, so a lot of buildings out there that don't need power this morning, which contributed to the drop.
Let's go to Carr. Katie.
Obviously, you said this was a major icing event, one of the biggest icing events we've seen in decades. But with last year's storm, it was lower temperatures for more days. So can you just review the main things you're doing to make sure that these changes that were made, these positive changes, could last through something like that again? Because I know people still do have anxiety about it.
Sure. I will go through all the changes that were made to make sure that the grid is more resilient. But I first want to point out that the fact that because we have added more power generating capacity, that is what led to the grid this year being able to generate and produce more power than was needed at the height of Winter Storm Uri. That's a result of the state bringing on about 15% more power generation capacity as a result of having more reserve power than we had last year. It's a result of what the PUC chair mentioned about the winterization. 99% of all power generators in the state of Texas are fully winterized and passed inspection for winterization. As a result of that, and as a result of the maintenance operations, we had more power generators online at the beginning of the storm, and more generators continue to operate during the course of the storm. Also, more natural gas facilities are designated as critical infrastructure to ensure ongoing operation during the winter storm. or at least have available, alternative sources of power on site, other than, let's say, natural gas. If they were to run out of natural gas or not receive natural gas, they could tap into these alternative sources. Then I'll add this last thing, and that is we have multiple days' worth of natural gas in storage in the event that it would be needed. When you add all that together, as well as some other things, the power grid is more stable, is more resilient, and is better than it's ever been in Texas history.
We have time for two more, Bridget.
Yeah, TxDOT mentioned they're getting some lanes open in Kirkville, all those people, but lots of people been sitting there overnight running out of gas. What's being done to help those people, and when do you expect to keep on?
Sure. I'm going to let both Texas Department of Transportation and Texas Department of Public Safety respond to that.
Well, as the executive director just talked, the lanes are being open right now. One is open on Interstate 10. We'd like no lanes to be closed. And every time a lane is closed and every time there's gridlock, there's more crashes behind that. So the challenge is how can we quickly move those vehicles off the road and continue to get people moving? And of course, in instances like this, when you've got too few wreckers and too many crashes and the conditions are so severe, and it's going to cause backups. There's nothing that can be done with that. I mean, they can de-ice all you want, and TxDOT does a great job before deploying that, but the weather conditions is what we're talking about. And that, unfortunately, when people are on the roadways, you know, in those conditions and they're driving too fast, it just takes one crash to create a series, especially along Interstate 10 and some of those areas like between mile marker 500 and 511.
I'll just add to that as I did note, we've got one lane open in each direction. We've had one lane open off and on throughout the night. The challenge that we've had has been really working around a lot of the trucks that you know, quite frankly, shut down, and our personnel and sometimes law enforcement personnel having to bang on their door and wake the drivers up and to get them to move their vehicles. We've been doing that throughout the night, and as I mentioned, we've got one lane open. We expect to have both lanes open in each direction, but conditions, and it's really important, as the Colonel mentioned, to let motorists know that conditions are still going to be dangerous and hazardous, particularly overnight. And when we have this refreezing, the ice is very stubborn. We have slick spots that we try to work around, and it only really takes one of those to create a very serious crash and a very serious backup. But we've got a lot of personnel on site, and they're working to assist motorists that need help and to get traffic moving.
Thank you. Wes?
Last question, Sean, CBS. What is being done to prevent accidents like this happening again with temperatures dropping below freezing across the entire state tonight?
So you mean tonight? So, I mean, I will take the first crack at it, then especially have TxDOT respond to it. So listen, one thing that obviously happens whenever we have an ice storm like this and we have so much ice on the roads and maybe snow coming down, one is for TxDOT to be out in advance, preparing the roads as much as they possibly can, and then going back and continuing to prepare the roads. But extraordinarily important, and that is to continue to remind the public about the necessity of driving with greater caution. Many drivers will come across areas of the roadway where they think there is no problem whatsoever. However, it turns out that there is what's called black ice under them. Here's what's may happen in some parts of the state of Texas today. There will be parts of the state of Texas that get above freezing during the course
Add to that is in that location on Interstate 10, we have pre-treated that. We have treated it throughout the day yesterday. We're going to treat it again. But as the governor noted, with low temperatures, with stubborn ice spots, the roads are going to continue to be hazardous, and we really strongly encourage motorists to stay home wherever possible and to expect that you're going to hit icy conditions if you get out on the roads tonight.
Thank y'all very much.
And